Experience the world's most legendary racing events with iRacing. iRacing special events allow any member to compete in full-length multiplayer races based on some of the biggest events in motorsports all year round. Compete in virtual endurance races, such as the Daytona 24, Spa 24, and the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Take on some of the toughest races on the NASCAR schedule, such as the Daytona 500. We have events from disciplines all across the racing world, from the Indianapolis 500 to the Chili Bowl, from the Bathurst 1000 to the Crandon Championship. Our endurance special events utilize iRacing's team feature, where members can sign up and race together on their own team, swapping drivers throughout the race. Other events utilize iRacing Super Sessions, where you're not only racing against those on track, but against every driver taking part. And as every race progresses, watch and feel the track change with progressive time of day, dynamic weather and rain, and dynamic track debris and surface changes. Take on your favorite discipline or try a brand new racing challenge with our biggest races of the year, the iRacing Special Events. Learn more at iracing.com/special-events.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome one, welcome all once again to SimSpeed TV. It's only been a week, but it's been a long time for us without any dirt action to munch on, and here we are at Weedsport Speedway for the next round of the Australian sim racing group Sprintcar Pro Invitational Series. This is going to be a massive event, this, at a very strange track indeed. The 7th round of this championship presented by Apex Lab, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what is yet to come for this night of racing. It's been a while since we've been here, but it always provides a little bit of, something extra when it comes to the action here at Weedsport with those concrete walls lining the insides of the corners. Bringing it to you live here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Kick. It's me, Reese Gardner, with Scott Rankin alongside me in the comms box. Jay Kennedy is alongside us and behind us, I suppose, in the producer's chair, bringing you these beautiful live pictures of one of New York State's premier dirt racing venues. Mr. Rankin, I feel like I say this almost every round, but I have been looking forward to Weedsport. It's fantastic.
That it is, and we walk into this one with a little bit of shuffle in the championship as well, which we'll get to in just a few moments. We're already into our 7th round of the 15 of the season, and we're reaching that center section. This is where we saw in 2025 Ethan Winter went from being more bubbling beneath the surface to all of a sudden come through and just locked in solid finishes basically from this point through to the end of the season. And we're starting to see that already. Clayton Davies, and we'll get to him and how well he's performing at the moment, starting to be nice and consistent. But it's this next stretch of the calendar. We've got Port Royal coming up. That can be a little bit of each way. Knoxville, I tell you what, if there's a crown jewel in the dirt calendar, it's Knoxville. Everybody wants to win at the track where you can physically see the air being maneuvered around these cars and the vortexes that spin down the straight. That one is at the top of everyone's want to win.
Absolutely. We're rounding off the season with some brilliant tracks as well. Eldora playing host to the 12th round in August. Lernerville Speedway is always a highlight. No wall on the outside through turns 1 and 2 and down the back stretch. Ending things off at the dirt track at Charlotte, which is the traditional season finale venue for ODSE. Going to be a fun time for all at the end of the season. For the moment, we're keeping our eyes peeled for championship standings coming into this round, and there was quite the run-up from Clayton Davies, quite the stumble from Tim Ryan, Scott.
But it didn't look like the night was going to start that way. Clayton Davies last week didn't put a qualifying lap together, and we were sitting there and going, well, that might just be where everything starts to fall to custard. Didn't turn out that way. Something happened in his heat race. He went from the back all the way to the front, qualified straight in, and then he was straight back up at the pointy end like as if nothing had happened. And when it's your year, those sorts of things will start to happen. We've seen those stumble moments now from the guys that are in behind him and his teammates, Aiden Forster and Tanner Pettit. Tim Ryan, though, again, a guy that's won at the international level on the big stage, has been quick, and then he drops off. And that's what we've seen from him here in the last couple of years. That's more what we're used to from Tim Ryan. Big splashy, big punchy finishes, and then one that doesn't necessarily go his way. So he's got to make sure that if he locks that consistency in, I was sitting here a couple of rounds ago going, we might be in for Tim Ryan's year, and how quickly that's changed.
Yeah, very much so. It was a big swing in the points. What it has resulted in is a top 3 lockout in the standings for Tanner Pettit Racing. Aiden Forster and Tanner Pettit, the Americans, have always been there or thereabouts. And in fact, they are your top 2 in the Rookie Championship presented by Outlap. Kelly Carmen sitting a very strong 3rd. It didn't quite go as well for Kelly as we expected last round at a track where we expected him to be strong, but he's still holding on to a really good championship position. Whether or not he can get a bit closer to those Tanner Pettit Racing heavyweights, though, remains to be seen.
Ethan Foley, though, had a really big opportunity last week. Qualifying in the heats went very, very well for Foley, and then got to the feature and it all started coming unstuck yet again. Fenton, we've seen good results from. I think he'd be quite happy with how the season's going to date. Probably thinking there's a few more points on the table. Baxter Truchet's a little bit further down the list. Again, another driver where there's probably been a couple times that the points have been on the table and just snapped through his fingers, just slowly oozed away as he's gone grasping for them. It's just making sure that when you're on for a good race, but the big thing about dirt, and actually when I was talking to quite a lot of guys last week, not only with traffic a big part, but it was also where the cushion was, and sometimes the track just forms those bumps and it forms those grooves in it, and you're left with a car that needed a really smooth surface. That's dirt racing in a nutshell. Sometimes that track just develops and just runs away from you, and there was quite a few guys who were saying that last night. Quite a few guys were looking at the traffic and going, mate, that really added to it. And then there was quite a few comments from yourself. I don't think Harry Stewart was your biggest fan after the interviews last week, Riggs.
Maybe not. But we'll see whether or not he podiums it here at this historic track that opened back in the mid-1950s. 600 meters long and, well, 600 meters square, not in terms of area, but in terms of shape. You'll see rapidly when we get out there just how weird Weedsport's layout is. Joel Berkeley, the most recent feature winner here, but that was back in 360 sprint cars. This is the first time ODSE competition has come to Weedsport in the 410 sprint cars. Bit of extra power, bit more management required of the tires, especially on the exit of turn 4 and entry into turn 1. These are the previous winners. Ethan Winter back in 2024 on one of his fantastic runs. Braden Shute, it's been a long while since we've seen Braden behind the wheel. Hopefully he comes back at some point. But Joel Berkeley has also seen success here in non-winged sprint cars and in big block modifieds. Harry Stewart in the midget was the first winner here in the 2020 Wheelman Challenge Series. Quick overview of the format for today. We've got a few more things to get through before we get things started. 8-lap heats with the top 4 all advancing to the A main. The C main and B main are here once again as well for drivers who couldn't make it into the A main through the heats. Top 4 from the C main to the B main, top 4 from the B main to the feature. First and second in heats all enter our redraw for the A main start positions in the top 10, and the A main is for 35 laps, but the pits will remain open until the end of lap 15 if drivers have issues early on and need to come in for repairs. Now, before we get things started, we have a little extra feature here, Scott. I understand you've had a chance to catch up with Australian Sim Racing Group's very own Brenton O'Brien to talk about the upcoming Race of Champions event.
Brenton, first time that you've actually walked over here to shake hands and have some fun with us in terms of the dirt world, and mate, things have gone a little bit sideways over here, but we're basically used to that. You're out here, though, to say to our drivers, we want to challenge you to something a little bit special. Can you walk us through what exactly is happening at the tail end of this year?
No, I love what's going on here, and before the end of the night goes out, I want to know why they call it Weedsport. And also, I'm super impressed with the way Reese goes through A main, B main. If you get through to C main, you can end up in the A main. Like, that's sensational Scrabble right there. But yes, thank you for having us. So what I just really want to announce is that at the end of the year, so this series, as well as we've got a Porsche series and we've got a V8 Supercar series under the Australian Sim Racing Group, or the ASRG umbrella, and all three series are as important as each other, but we were trying to work out a way of how do we bring all the championships together for one culmination during a night. And we've decided that on Friday night here in Australia, December the 11th, we're going to have a race of champions. So what we're going to have is from all three series, the Dirt Series, the V8 Series and the Porsche Series, we're going to get the top 5 drivers in the championship all racing on the one night. Now, straight away, people are thinking, oh, that's not fair for the dirt guys, or that's not fair for the circuit guys. We've covered that as well, because what we're going to be doing, we're going to be opening up in a late model stock car at Interlagos. We're going to do a couple of races. We're going to do a 10-lap race, and we're going to do a 15-lap full reverse race. Then, to make sure our dirt guys are absolutely covered, because we don't want anyone having an advantage over each other, our next set of races on the same night is going to be dirt racing in a dirt mini stock. Yep. And we're going off to Kokomo. And again, we're doing heat race 1, heat race 2, and we're doing a 30-lap feature race. And then from that, 5 of those drivers are going to drop out, and we're going to take the top 10. And those top 10 are going rallycross racing. They're going to be at Charlotte during a night race. It's going to be the full thing. We're going to a feature event where we're having 10 laps with the 10 drivers. We can't wait. And the fact that you've got guys who race in this championship who are already, I know, more than capable circuit drivers, I actually think inwardly, and about so openly, is that I think the dirt guys are going to be carrying quite an advantage. Yes, someone like Zach Rattray White, like this night is built for him, and there's decent prize money on offer. Like, we're talking $1,500. If you win this night, you're walking away with $1,500. If you come second, you're taking $750. If you walk away with third, you got $250. Now, over in American dollars, that might equal $1.40 with the way the Australian economy is going, but it's still something. It's still something. Also on that night, we're really excited to announce that we're actually having our second Hall of Fame presentation. We've already had 3 inductees, of which the great Jay Kennedy, the producer here tonight, was a very, very worthy winner of a Hall of Fame presentation last year. We're going to be inducting 3 more very, very worthy winners this year. We can't wait. December the 11th is going to be fantastic. We're at round 7 of 15 here in the Speedway Series right now. A lot to look forward to.
Yeah, big thing though, one of the logistical challenges obviously that's open to us, we've got guys here racing from the US of A, sitting down at their PCs at 5 in the morning. You know, that's a big old challenge. Unfortunately, as far as I understand it, they won't actually be eligible for the Race of Champions.
Yes, they will be eligible for the Race of Champions. Absolutely they are, yes, and we look forward to having them racing with us. And, you know, yes, look, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, but I can tell you right now, when the USA play the Aussies this week, this Saturday morning at the World Cup, it starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. So we feel your pain. Absolutely we do. But, yeah, no, we encourage, you know, if the Americans finish in the top 5 in the championship, and absolutely at the moment it's looking like a couple of solid ins there, we absolutely encourage them to join us, because we want this to be the best of the best on this night. And if they come from the States, if they come from New Zealand, if they come from Australia, we don't care. We're going to have them all racing on the one night. It's going to be a fantastic night, and really looking forward to it. And broadcast by good people like yourself and SimSpeed TV.
I think one of the cool things about the night that's open to us as well is in the background we've actually got our qualifying running out there at the moment. So we'll get a few quick times in and up on the board. Harry Stewart's leading the way at the moment. But Brenton, what do you think? Do you think the dirt guys are they're all going to pair up and try and beat off all the road course guys? Do you reckon the Porsche Cup guys are going to see it as an opportunity to one up their V8 guys? Battle of the it's not the codes, but it sort of kind of is.
Well, it kind of is, isn't it? And the cars that we're giving each series is going to have their own car, you know what I mean? So like the dirt guys, the livery's going to be done up for them, so it's going to look like this. The V8s are going to look like that, you know, if you come from that series. So look, I know qualifying started. Just keep your eye on the calendar for December the 11th, and you know, let's get these dirt guys getting their hands even dirtier amongst our circuit guys, and let's see who comes out on top. Like I said, I reckon the dirt guys will be very, very competitive in this.
Well, the big old challenge is I've got to claw myself from 30th in the points in the Porsche Cup to be eligible, so I've got some work to do. You've incentivized my practice for next week, mate. Thank you very much for your time. Can I invite you to sit back, relax, switch off the State of Origin, mate? You might want to switch on to this, because this really is the best racing that Australia has to offer. Thank you very much for your time, Brendan.
Good on you. Thanks, Hal.
Lovely stuff. Brenton O'Brien there from ASRG. Looking forward to that Race of Champions event on December the 11th. Well, the practice and hot laps presented by NBS 3D Printed RC and Slot Car Customs have already concluded, as is just about qualifying presented by SimRap Market. And what a quick time it is from Aiden Forster. 11.8 seconds the lap done here with Kelly Carmen very close indeed. Carmen could make up for what went wrong for him in the feature last time out. Harry Stewart performing very nicely too, with Rusty O'Neill and series admin Brady Baldwin rounding out the top 5. Clayton Davies, championship leader, only 6th spot, but we'll have to wait and see how that works out for him. I believe that'll work out to a 2nd place start in his heat. It is time for the heats presented by McSlide Race. Aiden Forster on top with Clayton Davies alongside. That is indeed a 1-2 for the Tanner Pettit Racing squad. In the 3rd spot is going to be Matthew Stables. He's got Lachlan Rogers very close by him, with Cole Ferguson and Ethan Foley rounding out the top 6. Bailey Leeson and Nash Granger are 7th and 8th, and then it's David Baker all on his own on the 9th and final spot on this grid, getting ready to roll away for the first of our heats. And remember, they are 8 laps in length. These races are going to go by in the blink of an eye in under 1.5 minutes. So yeah, strap yourself in. This is going to be nuts. Goodbye, Scott Rankin, apparently. Apparently there's some technical issues going on for him in the background, so it's just going to be me in the booth for this one. Apparently we're working on some other technical issues on one of our production PCs behind the scenes as well, so this is just a wonderful time for all, isn't it? But the Tanner Pettit Racing duo up the front is going to be having the most fun, I'm sure. They'll be trying to secure those top 2 spots, but Matthew Stables and Lachlan Rogers will be thinking about keeping themselves in that top 4, because that guarantees them the starting spot in the feature, and also the potential for improving their ultimate starting position in the top 10. The top 2 in each heat are eligible for going between positions 1 to 5, and 2nd place in the heats will be fighting for positions 6 through 10 with our friend the Spinny Wheel. I understand, Scott, you are back just in time for the green flag.
Yeah, how's that for a timed internet outage? We're going to get ready. Here we go. First of the Mono Creative Heats for tonight from Weedsport. Nathan Forster, after qualifying well, is going to try and slide it into turn 1 and pull away. Teammate Clayton Davies in the points lead. This is an important battle that'll set up the evening as it goes on. Matthew Stables is rolling around with a little bit of chaos at the rear end of the field as well. Cars into the fence there, Reese.
Yes, few cars getting into the fence, and, well, if you aren't familiar with Weedsport Speedway, well, this is a really good introduction to it. 4 distinct corners and lots of opportunity to defend as Lachlan Rogers tries to keep Ethan Foley behind him from getting into that crucial transfer spot. Keeping the momentum up down the start-finish straight, ultra important, but we're already at the halfway point, and that's too much oversteer for Lachlan Rogers. Foley through to the transfer.
And that's a big moment early on in this heat towards the midpoint now, as he's going to try and rebuild and rebound some speed on board the number 2 car. Nash Granger's starting to range up a little bit in behind. Bailey Leeson had a moment earlier on in the heat as well. He's going to be trying to claw his way back to this little group. 3 seconds back from the race lead at the moment as Nash Granger pushes out towards 4 seconds. Foley starting to stretch those legs. He's looking nice and comfortable in P4.
That he is, but, oh, I just saw them almost come together there. Lachlan Rogers having a go at Ethan Foley, and here comes Nash Granger. Just about ready for the start of the final lap here. Aiden Forster's already begun it here. but it is on for 4th place. Can Ethan Foley keep Lachlan Rogers behind? Lachlan is trying his best to take a tighter line through those opening turns, but it's not going to work out for him. Up the front, it's Aidan Forster who takes victory ahead of Clayton Davies. Stables in 3rd, and Ethan Foley gets into P4 with a very nice move on Lachlan Rogers. Rogers will have to work his way through the C and potentially B mains. Behind him, Nash Granger, Bailey Leeson, Cole Ferguson, and David Baker. Looks like all of our starters ended up finishing in Heat 1. Brilliant stuff, and thank you very much for the correction, Scott. Indeed, Mono Creative is the sponsor for the Heats. Brain wasn't braining for a second there, my apologies. Kelly Carmen is going to start on pole for Heat 2, with Darcy Walker alongside. Aston Hurley and Baxter Truchet are row number 2. Great performances from both Carmen and Truchet. Looking forward to seeing what they can do here. Darcy Wilson starts in 5th spot in car number 5, with Matthew Gowans rounding out your top 6. Then it's Thomas Mitchell, Hayden Vickers, and, interestingly, Tanner Pettit. Pettit did not set a qualifying time. Only just realised that. He's going to be working his way from the back here.
Yeah, a lot of work to do. And again, we talked about Clayton and his trip through to the feature and another strong finish last week. Well, it come from this position, but it was in the first heat, I believe, last time out. So a little bit more work to do off the back row of number Heat 2. And the tricky part, again, that shape of the racetrack, 4 distinct corners, 4 distinct opportunities. We saw that there from Lachlan Rogers. There was a little bit of an opportunity, but he skipped and slid. We might be trending in the direction of a track reset. And the reason that's sort of making me think about that is we probably already lost a good third of the racetrack to that slick line at this point in time, Reese. One mistake from heat number 1 that was quite crucial down in 1 and 2. I think there was a big mistake down in 3 and 4 as well. So one mistake at either end from one heat. What's heat number 2 going to give us? Particularly when that line continues to go away.
Yeah, you can see it from this aerial view, and you saw it from the static shot at the flag stand as well. The slick coming out of turn 4 almost extends across the start-finish line, and it begins again right after it. So this is going to be a tough one for these drivers, trying to find the grip. Plenty of traction for Kelly Carmen as he brings us to a start here. That's very wide for Darcy Walker. He's in trouble now. Baxter Truchet taking the opportunity and moving through to 2nd. An absolutely beautiful capitalization on that mistake, as everyone's trying their best just to get to the checkered here. Tanner Pettit in the number 24 getting some great runs around the outside of turn 1. He's going to have to get to the inside of Aston Hurley if he wants to get closer to the transfer. But Pettit may be in trouble here. We're already starting lap 3, and he's not moving forward fast enough.
No, he's found 2, and the best opportunities on that lap 1 as well. And he just saw Aston Hurley just a fraction ahead of him, move down to cover him off, make sure that there wasn't room to get that job down. No, he moves down to the bottom line. That takes all the momentum away from Tanner Pettit. Not much of an opportunity. Momentum has been stalled out of car number 24 yet again.
Yeah, back to 7th spot. This is not ideal for Tanner Pettit. Oh, that's a big slide for Matthew Gowans. That could be an opportunity for a freebie for Pettit. Certainly was a freebie for Hayden Vickers. And now Aston Hurley's going to take advantage as well. But Gowans on the wider line is going to carry more momentum through the turn. And that's exactly what Tanner Pettit is doing right now. Beautiful move around the outside. He's going to get it done. The speed of that thing. He gets into the back of Gowans with 1.5 laps to go for our leader.
And this is critical for Tanner Pettit. He's going to get down to the inside. Vickers is going to move up to the wall for 3 and 4, trying to find some momentum. And now Pettit's going to find a way to slot back in. Commits back to the bottom side. Final lap of heat number 2. It's all on for the transfers. Pettit's in at the moment. He's going to send a slider. Vickers is looking to steal it away from one of the top guys in the championship. And he will. Hayden Vickers at the line. And Reese, that's heat number 2. Tanner Pettit finds his way into the middle of the alphabet.
Oh my goodness, that is huge. And look at the gap. That is barely anything. 0.04 of a second in it. Vickers getting the momentum out of turn 4 with a great response from that move from Tanner Pettit. Kelly Carmen, 2 seconds in the lead. He was untouchable. Darcy Walker and Baxter Truchet are your podium, and Vickers joins them straight into the feature. Pettit, Gowans, Mitchell, Hurley, and Wilson will need to do a lot of work now to get themselves onto that grid. Wilson in particular, that was a very bizarre lack of pace from him there in Heat 2. But we're quickly moving on to Heat number 3. Harry Stewart a man who's won here in the past, is going to be starting on pole with Casey Hamilton alongside him. Bradley Oldfield has Zach Rattray White for company on row number 2. And then it's Oscar Ames starting out of P5. Kobe Noonan keeping him company on that 3rd row. Joel Berkeley, the winningest driver of ODSE competition here in years previous, starts 7th spot alongside Brad Minshall. And that's your field. 8 cars to take the start of heat number 3. I'm expecting a lot here from the Ulick guys, all starting on the inside row.
Yeah, and they're all going to obviously have the opportunity to talk to each other. The big thing is Berkeley from the rear end, and you talked about winningest driver, certainly here. So a lot of talent's coming off that rear end. The big thing was from that most recent heat was Hayden Vickers sort of nearly had a freebie. He knew that a guy like Tanner Pettit was going to throw a slider. He predicted Tanner Pettit was going to throw a slider, so he just was prepared to run the crossover line. That's what it's all about. Thinking, out-predicting your opposition. Who's going to be the smarter one here?
Well, Harry Stewart's going to be the quicker one off the line there, and immediately seeing Bradley Oldfield trying to follow him there, gets up to the inside wall in turn 1 and moves up into 2nd spot, has the momentum to almost go for the lead at this point. Stewart is wide in turn 4, but Oldfield has to slot back in. He's now under pressure from Casey Hamilton. It's too wide, as well as Zach Rattray White tries to get into it in the battle for the top 4. Kobe Noonan on the outside looking in.
The big thing I'm already noticing is down at 1 and 2, I actually think it's the bottom, but it's the low line. You really want to make sure that you hang on to that momentum. You get 3/4 of the way down the back straightaway, and all of a sudden the momentum starts to go away. Oscar Ames swings to the bottom as Zach Rattray White. He's going to throw the slider up and up the top. Down to the 3 and 4. Rattray White forced to respond, and Noonan's right there. He'll have a right rear that he's looking to try and find an opening with. Rattray White back to P4, but Ames and Noonan are closing in.
That they are. And it looks like Joel Berkeley behind them is backing out of this occasionally. I think he might be trying to play the long game, but it's going to be too long for the laps remaining. It's 3 laps to go for our leaders. So at the moment, despite the single file, it looks like everyone's just holding on to it.
And Joel Berkeley just had a big tank slapper and got the wall off at turn 4 last time by. That might take a little bit of momentum away, but here comes Noonan, who's going to try and get to the bottom now. Oh, the number 00 of Oscar Ames trying to find something. Now he goes for the crossover line. Slows all the way up to the top. For Ames, offense is going to be the best form of defense. They're going to come back to the white flag. It's looking like Stewart from Oldfield. Hamilton's all locked in, but who's going to finish in the transfer?
Now let's see, half a lap to go. Casey Hamilton, Zach Rattray White and Oscar Ames. Easy does it. Oh, wheelie across the line for Harry Stewart as he wins from Oldfield, and Zach Rattray White keeps Oscar Ames behind him to get into the transfer spots. In the end, Harry Stewart and Bradley Oldfield just under 0.2 of a second apart, with Casey Hamilton rounding out your podium. Zach Rattray White finishes in 4th. Oscar Ames, Kobe Noonan, Bradley Minshall and Joel Berkeley will have to work their way through the alphabet. Again, a bizarre lack of pace from a driver who we expected to be quick. Joel Berkeley only 8th spot. Well, we'll have to wait and see how he goes in the C and or B mains. Rusty O'Neill, meanwhile, is going to be starting on pole for heat number 4. Nathan Vanderwacker alongside him. Jacob Freeman and Ethan Bastian share the 2nd row. And then Brenton Hobson, Mr. 6th place, is in fact 5th alongside Craig Dunn. Hamish Canestrari and Ayrton Smith round out your field. 8 more cars to go and 4 more spots to decide for the feature grid.
Yeah, and the big thing is Rusty O'Neill, one of his better qualifying performances of the season, has a lot of opportunity here. Obviously, pole position, you get to control that initial restart. You get to control the launch, and you're never going to get another yellow flag in these heats. So that's the biggest opportunity to earn just a big bank. Once you run away at the front end of things, look, if Vanderwacker gets after him, throws a slider, he'll say, yeah, look, I'll take P2 in the heat. That's going to be right up at the front. That's going to be at the pointy end of things. That keeps you ahead of a lot of the junk that happens in the back end of the pack. It's much more difficult to pick up damage when everyone else is in your rear view.
Have a look at turn 3. There's an awful lot of slick that's formed up the top there. Drivers who are trying to take a wide entry have a very narrow margin to that concrete wall that surrounds this circuit. This is going to be quite a difficult heat once again. They seem to keep getting more and more difficult as time goes on. But for Rusty O'Neill, it's a clear track ahead of him. He's going to be the first one to find out where the grip is. Power down and away we go. And a little bit caught sleeping there was Nathan van der Wacker. Immediately moving through was Jacob Freeman, but the cutback underneath from van der Wacker. A poor run out of turn 2 from Rusty O'Neill, and he's from the lead to 3rd.
And the big thing was that Wacker got really high up and on the cushion down in 1 and 2 on that lap. He found the berm and he pointed it and he drove it all the way back out. Freeman's going to now send the reply. He saw what Wacker did on lap number 1 and he said, Wacker can do it. What about me? I feel like showing what I've got. Gets the front wheels in the air for Jacob Freeman. Here comes Rusty O'Neill. He's gotten it rotated real nicely on the bottom. But how about the battle for the transfer? Hobson to the bottom. Here comes the 54 of Ethan Bastion. He'll get momentum and nothing in it. They're just about into each other. Oh, Freeman just about got a couple wheels up and over the fence then. I thought he might have been out here. Now there's more contact.
Oh, round he goes and over the wall. Ethan Bastion is out, and maybe Brenton Hobson will have a black flag to his name by the end of the heat here. He holds on to P4 for the moment, but he's getting chased by Craig Dunn and Ayrton Smith. Up the front, Rusty O'Neill and Nathan van der Wacker are trading spots. I saw van der Wacker get into the wall a couple of times down the start finish straight. He is not out of the woods yet.
Canistrari, Ayrton Smith, Brenton Hobson, Craig Dunn. We are just about a 4-car pile up over in 1 and 2. Down to 6 laps into this one. Only 3 more circuits left to run. And I feel like there's been enough for the feature out there at the moment. Jacob Freeman is throwing everything. His car is all out of shape, all out of sideways as he's trying to find something to run down the leaders. We talk Rusty O'Neill. Look quick, look comfortable in terms of qualifying. I thought Wacker was going to have a go at him, and Wacker did. But he went and he whacked on back. It's Rusty O'Neill to take the heat.
Excellent job from Rusty O'Neill with the fastest lap at 12.7 seconds. He will win by 8/10 from Nathan van der Wacker. Jacob Freeman keeping himself in the podium spots there with Brenton Hobson finishing in P4 on the road, but we'll wait on a potential race control decision for that. I think if one was to be made, it would have been made by now. Ayrton Smith is going to round out your top 5 first out of the transfer with Canistrari, Craig Dunn and Ethan Bastion, the rest of your field. And Ethan Bastion will be ruining how that went for him. He is out and now has to work his way through the alphabet again. Last heat of the night, Brady Baldwin and Tim Ryan are your front row. Riley Hutchison starts 3rd place alongside Dan Grimshaw. Henry Fenson starting out of P5 has got Nathan Norman to his right, and then Gary Redcliffe and Nick Mithen are your final 2 drivers. An excellent number of drivers here today. There were some doubts that we would have a few drivers down tonight, but regardless, we still have an absolute bumper field, and what a front row this is. We got our series admin and one of the most successful drivers in the field.
Yeah, a few drivers out with state of originitis, I believe. It's a bad week for that. Always comes in this time of year.
My condolences.
You're right, though. Brady Baldwin and Tim Ryan. Tim's not necessarily had the best fire-offs from the outside row. Generally, even if he's on the second row from the inside, he's actually been quite quick and been able to pick his way through. Look for him to be a touch weak. Grimshaw's in a really, really nice spot. Big opportunity for that 75. He'll be looking to try and lock his way in, but I think he's probably going to be the driver up most under the pump.
Oh, yeah. Very much so. So now we form up. Dan Grimshaw's looking like he's in a bit of a hurry here. He's looking for a way through on Tim Ryan and Brady Baldwin on the formation lap. But we'll form into our 2 lines here, and Baldwin leads us away. Great jump, great momentum, immediately dipping to the inside of Tim Ryan is Riley Hutchison, but Tim Ryan, one of the most experienced drivers in the field and the most successful. He knows how to deal with stuff like this. He's going to keep that outside line going and force Riley Hutchison to keep it tight, but that bottom line is looking very good right now. A little bit of extra momentum up the top would do Tim some good.
Yeah, he'd love to be able to really wrap it at the moment, but I tell you who's driving that bottom line brilliant. It's the 010 of Henry Benson. That number 10 car, the Graham Electrical and Data Vortex entry, trying to wrap the bottom and trying to find a little bit of speed. He's just able to get in there, really wrapping along the bottom of 1 and 2, and he's starting to find something. Tim Ryan all of a sudden gets half a moment where he's not under pressure, and all of a sudden the number 98 machine starts to come to life. Hutchison's starting to find a little bit of speed, and someone went around. I think it might have been Grimshaw.
Here's the change for the lead. Tim Ryan and Brady Baldwin trading blows through turns 3 and 4. Baldwin gets the lead back, and they both feed it into the wall. But Tim Ryan is ramping off the exit of 1 and 2 there to get the momentum down the back stretch. Nice crossover indeed. But you see Hutchison in the background. The more these guys are running side by side, the more Riley's catching up.
Well, have a look at that one, though. Remember what I said about 1 and 2, and all of a sudden Brady Baldwin's come right up into this one. I tell you what, carry a camera if you're Riley Hutchison. He gets the opportunity to have a look at Brady Baldwin, and Baldwin found no drive up at 3 and 4. Throws the slider. Great job recognising what was coming from Hutchison. Drives it back down and underneath. He needs P2. Tim Ryan still trying to run away, but all of a sudden Hutchison is starting to look like the man on a move.
White flag, Dan Grimshaw and Gary Redcliffe both dropping out there, and that's not ideal. We're left with 6 cars for the last lap of the race, but for Tim Ryan, it is going to be victory ahead of Hutchison and Baldwin. Henry Fenson, he withstood the pressure. Some fantastic pace from car number 10. He will join them in transferring through to the feature. Nathan Norman and Nick Mithen, the last cars to see the checkered, and not too sure what happened to Gary Redcliffe, but Dan Grimshaw unfortunately towing back to the pits. There may or may not have been a coming together between the man up and old man drivers. It's all man all the time. Immediately, we move on through to the C main. Presented by Wimmera Dry Cleaners. This is the second chance that is needed for these drivers who were not able to get into the transfer spots. It's going to be Thomas Mitchell and Brad Minshall who start on our top 2 positions, with Craig Dunn and Gary Redcliffe on row number 2. Cole Ferguson starts P5. Aston Hurley, number 99, out of P6. Joel Berkeley is going to start out of 7th. Ethan Bastian is joining him on the next row. And then it's Dan Grimshaw and David Baker, with Darcy Wilson rounding out your 11-car field. And I think Berkeley and Wilson in particular are really looking for something more from tonight. This is one of their last chances to keep it alive.
Yeah, for sure. And Berkeley did not look good in that heat, so a lot of work for him to do to come through from the rear end of the field of our C main. So look, he's going to have to get his head down again. You know, we talk about him, he's capable of doing it, but Weedsport's probably not one of those tracks where it's all that easy. The problem here, and I think everyone's seen it thus far throughout the heats, look at the crossover lanes. That's okay when it's heads-up racing, when it's one-on-one. You throw 4 or 5 cars into the mix, and you're at risk anytime you send a slider and anytime you send a crossover, because that's also an invitation and an opportunity to the guys behind. You got to make sure that you're confident that you're clear. You got to make sure that you'll have the room to find the drive. No mirrors in these things. It is down to using your ears and the calls of the guy up in the stand. You trust your spotter at this racetrack.
You certainly do, especially when there's barely any extra room between yourself and the wall, both on the inside and the outside around here. We've in previous years, we've had loads of incidents where drivers have just fed the car in a little too early. They've caught the inside wall and they've spun around. I have yet to see that happen tonight, at least on camera. We'll just need to wait to see how this works out here. Thomas Mitchell blinking on his way to the start there, and it looks like a bit too much wheel spin, and oh my goodness, off goes Gary Redcliffe. He is to the back. Dan Grimshaw to the back too. Not an ideal start for a few drivers in this race, and Thomas Mitchell and Brad Minshall are absolutely going at it for the lead of the race. Craig Dunn, Joel Berkeley, Cole Ferguson, Darcy Wilson, they are all there. This is crazy. 3 wide coming into turn 3, 4 wide, nearly 5. This is fantastic.
Mate, I think you can fit 5 sprint cars across the front straight away, and I think you can only fit 5 sprint cars because they lined them up, and they certainly wanted to have a measuring battle. Who can fit the extra wheel in there? Now it's going to be the momentum starting to go the way of the top side as Cole Ferguson starts to find a little bit of turn, and car number 81. They're 57 now. Craig Dunn, the OMR machine on the bottom end of the racetrack, trying to find something going on in the back. It was also Grimshaw and Redcliffe that got into each other in that final heat as well. Berkeley's gone for the tail end. He's going to get a door down the front straight away. 3 wide again as we enter 1 and 2, and Berkeley finds some drive from the top.
Craig Dunn getting pincer moved by the Ulick Simsport guys, and he's also left the door open for Brad Minshall to move to the bottom. They make contact, and that's going to send Craig Dunn even further back. Unfortunate, but 4 laps to go. Still some time to fight back. Speaking of fighting, Cole Ferguson chasing down Thomas Mitchell. Has the fastest lap of the race as Cole. My goodness, that's a huge crash there for Aston Hurley. Oh, no, sorry, that's Ethan Bastian that just went for a big smash up there through turns 3 and 4. His night is over. It's over for Aston Hurley, Gary Redcliffe and Dan Grimshaw, but 3 laps to go for our top 4, who are incredibly close together. Cole Ferguson continuing to try and make tracks on Thomas Mitchell.
Yeah, Thomas Mitchell sent me some messages today. He said, I'm feeling confident, Scotty, I'm feeling strong. Qualifying didn't necessarily go his way. Neither did the heats. Now he's starting to look if he can try and dominate from lights out to flag in C-Main for the Vortex Sim Sport number 28. On the outside, Cole Ferguson starting to come under some pressure from the number 5 machine of Darcy Wilson. Wilson is going to try and get to the bottom. Apologies for the picture as we go radio style. Mitchell's to the top of 3 and 4. Darcy Wilson underneath Cole Ferguson. He will nick P2. But it's going to be Mitchell from Wilson from Ferguson. Berkeley gets the final one into the B main for tonight.
Well, Darcy Wilson and Joel Berkeley did absolutely 100% what they needed to do in that circumstance. Now they've just got to work their way from the back of the B main and get back into the top 4 again to get a feature spot. Thomas Mitchell and Cole Ferguson are the other 2 drivers who transfer through, with Brad Minshall the first to go home. Craig Dunn, David Baker, Ethan Bastian, Aston Hurley, Gary Redcliffe, all not able to get into those top spots, and it's particularly painful for Mr. Redcliffe because he had a lot of potential for this one. Unfortunately, we won't see him in the A main. Well, now it's time for that B main to set the field for the A main. Dan Grimshaw, of course, the first car out of the C main. Lachlan Rogers and Tanner Pettit, 1 and 2. This is going to be quite interesting, seeing Tanner Pettit having to work his way up like this. Oscar Ames and Ayrton Smith are your second row, with Nathan Norman and Nash Granger 5th and 6th. We have Matthew Gowan starting in P7 with Kobe Noonan in 8th spot. Top 10 rounded out by Hamish Canastrari and Nick Mithen. Then it's Bailey Leeson, followed by our top 4 from the C main: Thomas Mitchell, Darcy Wilson, Cole Ferguson and Joel Berkeley. A 15-car field for the B main presented by McSlide Race.
Yep, big opportunity in this one. Final spots on the grid for our A main here tonight. And a big opportunity to make sure that your championship in 2026 keeps walking its way forward. We go weird when we get to Weedsport, located in Weedsport, New York. And I tell you what, the lines tonight, they've been big. The accidents, we've only just started to see some of the big ones. The problem is, look at that groove now. All that dark dirt you start to see down low, that's actually not loam. You can see all that up at the top of the racetrack. You'll see the cars on the outside rise up a little bit. There's a berm starting to form all the way up at the top of 1 and 2. But just about everywhere else is treacherous, Reese. These tyres have chucked that dirt off the racing surface.
Yeah, it's going to be very slick out there, and well, when we get into that warm-up in between this race and the feature, there's every chance we might see that track reset, as you mentioned earlier, but we'll put that to the back of our minds for now, because Lachlan Rogers has led us away. Green flag flies for the B main here at Weedsport. And Tanner Pettit moves up into 2nd spot. He doesn't need to do much. All he has to do is stay in the top 4, and he has the pace to win this. But drivers working their way up from the back will need to wait and keep an eye out for them. Ayrton Smith managing to clear Norman, Granger and Ames, who are all fighting over the same piece of racetrack. Bailey Leeson and Cole Ferguson are out.
Yeah, and I think there was a little bit of contact, and I want to say it was one of the Ulick boys down the back. I think it might have been the number 5. Now Mitchell's gone out. There's 2 more up and over into the fence as well. All of a sudden tumbling down the standings. That's going to be Mitchell, Nathan Norman and Nash Granger done for the day.
Yeah, looks like Thomas Mitchell also out too. We're down to 10 cars, and that makes the job slightly easier for the likes of Berkeley and Wilson, who are still trying to work their way up here. Here's Berkeley, Hamish Canastrari to his inside, and Darcy Wilson trying to follow his teammate through. Look at the dust being kicked up. This is a dry and slick racetrack we're dealing with at the moment, and it's the ones who rise to the top who are best prepared for those conditions. They're fighting ahead. This is giving all the opportunity to Berkeley, Canastrari, Wilson and Mithen to keep their night alive.
Yeah, got to try and work each lane at the moment. Have a look at the dust that's starting to come up off that racetrack as well. Moisture's gone away from it. Halfway through the B main. And now it's going to be somebody else bouncing down the front straight away. I think that might have been Kobe Noonan, so he's gone as well. That might be the last of the Vortex boys that we're here and in contention, unfortunately, tonight. So now going to be trying to cut their way back through from the rear end of the field. Nick Mithen and Hamish Chemistrari are sort of out and on their lones. And Berkeley suddenly found a turn of speed, driven his way from the rear end of the field. Might have been Contact, might have been Wilson, but here comes Berkeley. Dying stages of this one, and all of a sudden that 9 is in contention.
Oscar Ames and Ayrton Smith holding on to the last 2 transfer spots, but Joel Berkeley is getting into it here. Matthew Gowan's right with them too. This is something that is going to be very difficult to predict, honestly, but that I didn't predict. Joel Berkeley going super deep into turn 1. He's just lost valuable track position with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, and he was taking a lot of risks right up and against the barrier at the turn-in point for turn 1 and 2. Here it goes. Oscar Amos thinks he's got something competitive, and he gets alongside. Starts to throw some momentum back at the way of our race leader. So my apologies, his Pettit's got through. It's Lachlan Rogers and Oscar Amos. Now they're starting to bobble back through. Here comes the white flag, and all of a sudden it's going to be Joel Berkeley in contention round the outside. Nixon still trying to look for one more spot. He gets there. He's in front of Ayrton Smith, but here comes the slider. Look to try and get to the inside. Ayrton Smith's going to lock it in. It's going to be Pettit by a landslide. Ames, Berkeley and Smith. My word. That's why we love Dirt Race.
Wow. That was a really intense finish. Ultimately, Tanner Pettit nearly 5 seconds ahead of the rest of them, with Oscar Ames, Joel Berkeley and Ayrton Smith rounding out your top 4. Berkeley just scraping into the feature there. Matthew Gowan's the first of the drivers who missed out. Darcy Wilson wasn't able to advance any further forward than 6th place, with Lachlan Rogers getting hit out of contention there. Hamish Chemistrari, Nick Mithen and Kobe Noonan rounding out your top 10. And then we had Nathan Norman, Nash Granger, Thomas Mitchell, Bailey Leeson and Cole Ferguson all not able to make it to the finish. A real shame, because there are a couple of heavy hitters in that roster. Well, it is time now for the dash, or sorry, not the dash, the redraw presented by Australian Speedway Results. And joining us here will be Brady Baldwin to carry us through all of this, and our friend the spinning wheel is waiting in the wings, ready to go. Well, first thing we're going to do is decide positions 6 through 10 for the feature starting grid, consisting of the second place drivers in the heats. Brady.
Yeah, certainly, Reece. So change up the starting order a little bit. Obviously, I'm not in it because I stuffed up my heat race royally, so let Tim get past me, and then Riley got me right at the desk. So I'll be starting towards the back, but obviously guys can move and shake throughout the top 10. Clayton Davies will be first, so he could start 10th instead of 6th, so that'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, certainly. This could make quite a big difference for any and all of the drivers involved, starting with Clayton Davies. Before we spin the wheel, Clayton, you come into this round as the championship leader. Fantastic night last time out. And it looks like Weedsport is smiling on you as well. Are you feeling comfortable here?
I wasn't until you put the commentator's curse on me.
Whoops-a-daisy.
No, we're feeling all right. Again, I really haven't had any chance to do any laps other than this afternoon, so I'm kind of just trying to hope on for a decent finish. I think if we manage to find a way to keep our nose clean, it should be a pretty good race.
Well, the spinning wheel is spinning, and I'm keeping my eye on that green segment, 6th place, because that's where it's going to stop. You got best case scenario there, Clayton. You're starting outside 3rd row.
I'll take that. Thanks, guys.
Lovely stuff. Clayton Davies starting from 6th. Next up, Darcy Walker. Well, it looks like the best you can hope for is 7th out of this one, Darcy, but still, top 10 at a track like this is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, exactly, mate. I'll take what I can get here.
That seems to be the attitude of a few drivers as we prepare for the spinning wheel to get spun again. The track has been evolving pretty substantially over the course of the night. Very slick out there at the moment. Are you one of the drivers hoping for a track reset?
Probably, yeah. I reckon it'd probably be beneficial, 100%.
Well, we'll leave that final decision with race controls. It looks like 8th is going to be where you're starting, right behind Clayton Davies.
Awesome. Cheers, fellas.
Position decided for Darcy Walker. Now it's Bradley Oldfield's turn to go up against the spinning wheel. 7th, 9th, or 10th are your options, Bradley. Would you rather be starting on the inside or outside line for this?
I think I'd inside line try and keep out of trouble, but just take whatever we can get, I suppose.
And a big part of it is not making mistakes while others around you do. Spinning wheel is alive and kicking, and it's going to be 7th spot by a few pixels.
Beauty, do that.
Well, best case scenario there for Bradley Oldfield. Nathan Vanderwacker, second last of our drivers to be sorted here. With Bradley Oldfield starting in 7th spot, basically you've got your pick of the 5th row.
Oh, 9th or 10th, doesn't matter. I'm in the feature, I'm in the top 10. Let's just see what happens.
Do you think you'd be able to advance forward very much, or are you going to be focusing on keeping people behind?
I'm always confident in my feature pace. Like, I honestly think I can make it from anywhere. I went Williams Grove, I think I went from 20th to 4th, so I'm just happy I'm in the feature. That's all I really care about, and I think I can move forward all the time in any feature.
Well, the only question is inside line or outside line. It's going to be the inside. 9th place for you, Nathan.
Awesome, cheers, I'll take that.
Excellent, and that will then leave Riley Hutchison to take 10th spot for the feature start. This is a difficult track, Riley. How have you been finding it, and what are you hoping for?
Yeah, I'm pretty solid around Weedsport, so but no, I'm actually really enjoying it right now. I reckon it'll be pretty racy in the same main here, so hopefully we can just keep our nose clean and finish.
Yeah, well, you'll be starting outside 5th row, so you'll have somewhat of a view of what's going on ahead of you. That is the latter half of the top 10 decided. Now we decide who rounds out our top 5 for this event, starting with Aiden Forster. I guess every option is open for you, Aiden. It could be pole, it could be 5th. We'll see where you end up.
Yeah, definitely good nonetheless. We had a good showing there in the heat race. Hopefully we get to get under the stick here and can get another one.
Great qualifying pace as well. That quick time was immense. So that yellow segment is going to be where Aiden will be hoping it lands, but it's not going to be quite there. Still front row, 2nd place for you.
Yeah, we'll definitely take that. We have a really good car. Tanner's got us a maneuverable setup here tonight. So yeah, just basically in my hands now to mess it up. So hopefully we can get us another one. Like I said.
Lovely stuff. Aiden Forster, number 20, will gladly take that 2nd spot as we are joined by Kelly Carmen. Fantastic turn of pace for you early on in the night, Kelly. Are you hoping that transfers through to the feature?
Oh, yeah, that's all you can hope, really. Just, yeah, hopefully I draw well and hold my spot.
All right, well, all depends on which spot this random draw lands on. Virtual momentum is key on the track and key for the spinny wheel, which ultimately lands on 4th, outside 2nd row for him.
Oh, yeah, that's not bad. Just going to follow Aiden around. I know he's going to be really fast. I've seen that all season, actually. So, yeah.
Awesome stuff. Kelly Carmen taking 4th there. Well, Harry Stewart joining us now. It would appear that your only option is for an inside row start, but that's not the worst place to be.
Nah, that's probably pretty good. It sort of gets me out of, makes me less of a chance of hitting the wall down the straight. Just introduces hitting the inside wall into turn 1 bigger.
Such as Weedsport.
Yeah. Yep.
It's going to be odd numbers for you, and it's quite a big segment, but, doesn't quite land on pole. It's going to be 3rd for you.
Ah, cool. Cool beans. Although, try not to suck. Cool.
Harry Stewart, unbothered as always, as we're joined by Rusty O'Neill. Oh dear, Rusty, this is this is a matter of extremes here. I mean, it's only really a matter of effectively 2 car lengths on the start, but 1st or 5th? I think the answer as to what you want is obvious.
Yeah, 1st would be amazing.
You've brought it. You got to reverse. The spinning wheel operates on reverse psychology, mate. You can't say that.
Oh well, I'll reverse psychology to reverse psychology. I'll try and get the pole. That would be awesome. 5th is honestly just as good. It's better than starting way deep and feel like I usually do. So I'm just hoping my set isn't too loose off the start and I butcher it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, that's 5th place that the spinning wheel has decided. Rusty, best of luck from there.
Yeah, cheers, thank you.
And that leaves Tim Ryan, who can never complain about a spinning wheel again, Jay says. You've just gotten pole.
It's because it wasn't left in my hands, boys, to spin. Hey, and in all seriousness, Brady, I'm so sorry for the heat race.
I was telling the boys, I'm like, oh, that was a little bit on the nose, a little bit rude.
Yeah. I went to talk to my sister. I had to come back after you said it, and I was like, oh, that wasn't very good. Nah, it should be I reckon Harry's going to be really quick, to be honest. The line that you run is when it's slick, he'll be really good. But no, it'll be a good race. Hopefully I do all right. Last week was pretty bad.
Well, there's always opportunities to bounce back, and if there's one thing I know you for, Tim, it is bouncing back. So best of luck and congratulations on grabbing pole position.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you, bye.
And that is your A-Main starting order. Tim Ryan's on pole with Aiden Forster alongside Harry Stewart and Kelly Carmen, Rusty O'Neill and Clayton Davies. Then Oldfield, Walker, Vanderwacker and Hutchison round out your top 10. And what a top 10 it is, Scott. What a top 5. Like, this field is stacked.
Yeah, it is. I mean, these guys are the best not only in this country, but also internationally as well. It's some of the biggest and best field. And the big thing tonight, Reese, is... I don't know, again, Brenton made a good joke about it earlier on in the piece. There'll be a cash prize when we get to the Race of Champions later on in the series. Well, tonight, it's $100 to win. The only problem is I think that might get you a Coke in America. I think that's about all it's good for.
Yeah, sounds about right. It also appears that there has not been a track reset for the A-Main. So the drivers are going to be struggling. They will be on Struggle Street in their struggle bus. There's a lot of slick over this racetrack and barely any grip outside of that slick besides. So, dearie me, 35 green flag laps of this is going to be a trial.
That it will, but then again, that could also make for some of the best racing as well. Look, it's difficult. There is a groove of loam perfectly in the middle of the racetrack. The other thing is, it's also left over perfectly since the end of the A-Main as well. So the guys at the back, they've got a little bit of a running on this. They've got a little bit of an advantage of exactly where this fires off from. So opportunity, at the same time, survival. And Tim will be very, very happy about that pole position. If the track doesn't get reset, survival. All of a sudden, if he just gets a good launch, becomes so much more difficult to run him down and pass.
Yeah, there's plenty of things that Tim Ryan has reminded me of over the years, and it's just reminded me as well that he has a tendency of getting in front and staying there once he's gotten there. So it's going to be a tough job for the Tanner Pettit racing cars, which are all starting in really wildly different spots throughout the field. I mean, Tanner himself down in 21st place. We got Forster up the very front with Tim Ryan, and Clayton Davies starting out of 6th. The powerhouse team of the series is looking quite spread thin at the moment.
Yeah, work to do for sure. And a big shout out to one of the guys who's been a big part of this series for a long while in terms of the background stuff that goes along. Ladies and gentlemen, Damon Mulqueen is happily a father as of today, mate. He's been a good friend of me over the last couple of years. He's always there, willing to have a bit of banter, a bit of a shout. And, mate, he's a troublemaker, and I know that means that his kid is going to be a troublemaker, so he's in for a wild ride.
Absolutely. We're getting ready for the green flag here for the A-Main presented by Apex Industries. Tim Ryan is away and keeping the lead for now, but gets a little bump from Aiden Forster and a big slide through turn 3. Aiden Forster to the front. Kelly Carmen trying to get around Harry Stewart, who's working the inside line, but it looks like early on there's not much momentum down there. They need to try and get a little more momentum down low to make it work. That was Darcy Walker just about getting into the wall. Gently does it round the outside here. This is Weedsport. This is fantastic racing already.
Yeah, they were 4 wide at the back end of the field as well. And they're 4 wide again as they get to the turn 1 and 2 once more. I think it was Casey Hamilton down on the inside. Tanner Pettit's managed to start cutting his way through. Look at the checkups in the middle of this one. Brady Baldwin's the car at the front of this one. It's going to be Pettit who gets up the racetrack, and I think he finds himself just a touch of contact with Hayden Vickers, but you can just see they are squabbling for every little bit of room. Up ahead of them, they've all started to spread out right across the speedway, but right now, at the moment, Weedsport's is tight at the back.
Tanner Pettit, oh, that's slow for Jacob Freeman, and it looks like the FRM Motorsports car is going to be out. He gets it off the racetrack, so we stay green for now. That's unfortunate for the number 18. Keeping an eye on the progression of drivers outside the top 10, it looks like Tanner Pettit and Joel Berkeley both up 7 positions each, which is a phenomenal run for only the first 7 laps or so of this race. We keep an eye on Darcy Walker, who's trying to keep Kelly Carmen behind him, but there's going to be a good run up the inside there from Carmen. Riley Hutchison just behind, ready to take advantage as well.
Yeah, Vetuak starting to buy his way on and into that battle pack as well. Hutchison now gets up and into that outside fence. And all of a sudden, lap number 15 starting to creep all the way up on us. 35 in the feature here tonight. And they are going to tick by at a rapid rate of knots. They're still getting into each other, those two. It's Carmen, it's Hutchison. Sorry, it is Carmen, Kelly Carmen and Darcy Walker. They're still throwing little sliders at each other. And I think Riley Hutchison's starting to buy his way into the picture as well. Off the top right, they're actually going to get into each other down the front straight away. Sabaina's been traded. These two have been back and forth at each other for about the last 5 or so laps. And it's just getting a little bit feistier with every passing moment.
Full-on banging wheels down the back stretch, but Riley manages to gear something up again alongside his teammate Kelly Carmen. Carmen squeezed a bit tight there out of turn 3, opens up the opportunity for Bradley Oldfield to move through. Walker keeping him. Oh no, there we go. That's kicked off, and that's Oldfield up and over and around. Can he land on his wheels? He can. Fortunately, it's within the first 15 laps, so he can get in and get that car repaired.
Yep, that he will be. He'll be straight into the pit lane to have a fresh wing reattached to the back, the top end of that car. There's also another car around, and there's another car slow on the front straight away. Matthew Stables, did something happen to him?
Yeah.
Is Stables? So that's the first incident for Bradley Oldfield, and then something else happened to Matthew Stables.
All right, we'll find out in just a moment. A big thanks to SimRat Market for also being the sponsor of the replays as well. There's Bradley Oldfield with a brand new set of wings on his sprint car. This is what happened to Stables. Joel Berkeley to his inside through the closing corners, and wow, okay, that was just full-on effective bumper-to-bumper contact, and that happened as the caution came out. There's the pace truck driving straight through him.
Yeah, so that was, really opportune, at least for Matthew Stables. He's gotten into the pits as well. There was some damage to car number 46. He's gotten in there and gotten it cleared. And Barney's got
Okay, interesting.
You reckon he pulled the trigger on that one? I reckon he had a good view. He did pull the trigger.
Yeah, I reckon he did. Oh, well, far from ideal, bit of contact there, but I think it tends to happen at places like Weedsport, with how much of a change of direction there is through turns 1 and 4 at a place like this. It's very easy to have your entry just define your entire trajectory through the corner, and ultimately, once you get up to that outside wall, where you are is where you're going to be.
Yeah, so just going to run you through the list of cars that have been through the pits. Kelly Carmen had damage, as did Bradley Oldfield. We saw what triggered the caution for Oldfield. Brenton Hobson and Henry Fenton have both been through the pits. Rattray White, Matthew Stables is the last car that has been through pit lane for some damage repair.
So that rounds off the caution. The green flag is just about in the air, ready to be thrown. It's still Tim Ryan and Aidan Forster, your front row. Clayton Davies and Harry Stewart your second row on this first restart of the A main here at Weedsport, and it's a nice even restart for all of them. Tim Ryan not getting a huge jump over everyone. That means he's going to fall under pressure from the Tanner Pettit Racing pair. Aiden Forster and Clayton Davies really piling on the pressure now, and Harry Stewart's working the outside. Lots of momentum, but he gets squeezed and into the wall, and that's going to check up everybody behind. Stewart gets into the wall again, and then he gets hit from behind. Oh, he falls all the way to nearly the back of the field, down to 21st place, but he's still rolling.
Are we sure this place is called Weedsports? Because after the ride, Harry Stewart said it might be called Wax Sports. In just a few moments, Rattray White starting to try and cut his way back through the field, and you can just see them everywhere you look.
Oh,
3 by
Hamilton.
3 at the moment. There's another car. Casey Hamilton's going to go for a tumble. Reese, they were 3 wide, 2 deep, and it was for about 5th spot.
That's crazy. This is a really close and tight race at the moment. Tanner Pettit in the midst of it all. He and Joel Berkeley now up 13 and 14 positions each. That is some crazy running from these guys who weren't able to get the speed in the heats initially. Right.
A little bit of a question, by the way, Harry Stewart. We saw the damage and him getting up into the barriers. He said, I've got a little bit of a bent race car. He's playing the pleading card. Technically, it's lap 16. Did the caution come out on lap 15? If so, that's what he's looking for, is for an opportunity to get in. If not, pit lane's closed. Sorry, bud. You've got what you got.
There's that 3 wide, 2 deep you were talking about, and it looks like Oldfield was just sent straight into the Shadow Realm.
Yeah. Rolls back down and off the fence, and unfortunately his night is done. Confirmation on Harry Stewart. It was lap 16 when the caution flag was thrown. Sorry, mate. That is it. That's what you've got for the rest of the night.
That's a shame. Harry Stewart had a really good pace here today. He will not get the opportunity to capitalize. I think it's just going to be survival from here on out for the number 96. Fast repair window officially closed by race control. And we are rapidly reaching that halfway point, right? Halfway around the 17th green flag lap, that'll be half distance. This race has absolutely flown by, and we're looking forward to more intense, fast-paced action coming in just a few seconds here. Pace truck is going to pull away. Still a double file restart. This is the second caution of the night. And remember, back in 2025, we also only had 2 cautions, so let's hope that this is a long green flag run to come. Tim Ryan leads us away as Barney waves the green.
Yeah, he's going to get a good launch from the bottom row, but now it's going to be Clayton Davies who's looking for an opportunity to get down in there, but it was, I believe, it was car 34 who got into someone, so I reckon it was Baxter Truchet who was there, and he was in about 5th spot, looking for a way to cut his way through. The problem for Truchet, he's lost the nose wing now, less downforce on the front end of it, and I think it was the 29 machine that also got into him, so it was Darcy Walker, and there is another nose wing that's also on the back straightaway.
Yeah, looks like Riley Hutchison had some problems as well. He was sent to the back as now Tim Ryan and Aiden Forster are starting to do the dance for the lead of the race. Clayton Davies with them, but the caution is back out again. We've exceeded the caution amount from last year. This is caution number 3, and it looks like Rusty O'Neill. I have never seen an iRacing sprint car so badly mangled.
No, that's unfortunate. That is so unfortunate, because I was just saying Rusty's in a really, really good spot at the end of qualifying, and we were starting to get excited for him to put a really, really good result together, and Tim Ryan gets very lucky in terms of where he gets this one back. So it's the 2 car, and then it's just a melee from there on out, and unfortunately he is just bent trying to get out of the way. So that was 1 car that was caught up in that one. I was just trying to say, the 2 car I think is supposed to be Hutchison, but I've been seeing, unfortunately, on my end, I've been seeing Kelly Carmen in that car, so it is in fact the 002 machine, so it was Hutchison that hit the barriers, and then this is the secondary.
Oh, that's just unlucky. You know, you're on the inside line, and you know, you turn in just a tiny bit too late, or the guy alongside turns in a tiny bit too early, and you just get whipped around. Rusty O'Neill could barely do anything about that, and he is sent to the garage in pieces. That makes it 5 cars that have retired from this one. Still got 19 running, and it's still the same super close battle up the front. We've still got Tanner Pettit and Joel Berkeley in contention for a podium, I'd say, with the pace that they've got so far.
Yeah, it's been pretty close up front, and there's a few guys that are starting to toss their hat in the ring in terms of capability. Like Tim has led the way, but Forster's there and starting to challenge him. Remember how confident Nathan van der Wacker sounded, though? He said, I'm really confident. I've got great car, and I'm going to go forward in the feature. Well, car 88 is in contention.
Single file on this third restart. Bit of a little slide from Aiden Forster. Van der Wacker now sees a lot of potential here to keep himself on the podium, but Clayton Davies is going to give him a huge fight here coming into turn 3. Smooth steering inputs are key. It looks like Clayton's starting to hold up his teammate Tanner Pettit, who is steaming through with Joel Berkeley. Both of these guys making their way up from further back in the field. Both of them having poor runs in qualifying in the heat. And that's Pettit in the wall. Oh, goodness. How on earth did he hold on to that? The car will surely be damaged, but somehow he's still rolling.
Yeah, the big thing is it's still going to be scoring some points on the night. That's the big part about it. When you're cutting your way through from the back end of the field as well, in terms of road course racing, sometimes that'll make you chew up your tyres. But with dirt, it's about patience. It's about not sliding the car as much as those guys around you. The guys up the front, they are throwing haymakers at each other. So when you get that caution, it's an opportunity for Joel Berkeley to have saved some time to this point. Caution flag's going to roll once more, Reese.
And that's for Darcy Walker, who tows back to the pit lane. Ah, that's a shame. The number 29 was also looking really good here today, and he'll get no further chance to capitalize on his pace. We'll get a replay for you very shortly of how that went down. How about right now? That is Truchet below him and just comes straight up into him. A lot more difficult to rotate the car when you don't have a front wing on it.
Yeah, it's just nothing gluing the front of that race car to the ground, unfortunately, and giving it any bite, it's floating up in the air, and you're just sort of a passenger. You're more steering with the right foot. Anytime those tyres are actually on the ground, you're going to try and grab some bite, and then you're using the right foot the rest of the time to try and grab something. Truchet's going to be sent to the rear for that one right there. Again, Ryan's got control, but after we run a few laps, all of a sudden Forster starts to come back at him. It's risk versus reward. If you send it in deep, lap 1, turn 1, well, you've got an opportunity to get alongside. There's a couple guys that are running towards the bottom end of the racetrack. That groove is all but gone. At this point in time, I think, honestly, Reese, it's get up it against the fence and hope for a mistake.
Yeah, that's what I'd do in this situation, though I haven't gotten behind the wheel of a dirt car on iRacing for a few years now. But, yeah, it's easy to see where the grip is, and it is on that outside line. You can try to run the inside all you want, but it's a narrow strip of clay to the inside there. Best you can hope for is to sort of hook your inside left and rotate the car, and even then you won't get any traction on the way out. See that little bit of fresher clay right there in the middle of turn 1? That's what everyone's going to be aiming for.
Yeah, but it's so slim, and it's not even, you say it is fresher, but it's not fresh. Yeah, it's tricky, and it's a sliver that you're aiming at. It's all going to be about how you get the drive off of 1 and 2. You might turn and point it back down and get a really, really straight exit, but remember, that's vulnerable. That's a check-up point in the middle of the corners. That comes with risk.
How about the risk of leading a single file restart? Not much for Tim Ryan. He's going to get about half a second here on Aiden Forster. Immediately to the inside, Clayton Davies. What a beautiful run on the inside of turn 1 to take third place back from Nathan van der Wacker. But see how much he has to check up to even have any hope of getting through turn 4. Van der Wacker on the outside line is steaming by. And Joel Berkeley rounds him up, gets into the back of him. 3 wide, super close, coming into turn 3. Berkeley has to back out of it. A wise decision. Only 9 green flag laps remain as Tim Ryan takes the start-finish line. It looks like Clayton Davies looking pretty comfy down there on the low line. How about Aiden Forster?
Well, he's going to turn it down off the top right, but look for a little bit of speed. He can't quite find it. All of a sudden, towards the bottom of the racetrack, Clayton Davies isn't finding anything as well. Wacker's going to try and shut the momentum down. Car 88 isn't necessarily looking to try and throw a move. He's trying to cover one off, and that's by taking the momentum away from car number 10. But all of a sudden, Davies finds some clay at the bottom end of the racetrack. But he gets moves going for P3 at the moment, but it's relevant. They're all of a sudden in the middle of 1 and 2. Everyone ahead of them gets checked up, and they come right back to them. This is going to be tight. Can anyone find a way past? But the big thing is, when is the mistake coming from and where will it happen?
Tim Ryan just made a mistake. He went a bit too deep in turn 1, gathered it up through turn 3, but that's closed the gap for the lead. Aiden Forster with a 14.5 on the last lap, playing a 14.6 from Tim Ryan. And there's the move to the inside, up to the top for Aiden Forster. And Tim Ryan isn't fighting it. I thought he would get more momentum down the back stretch, but that's not the case. It's still on.
And the big thing was the slider move. He managed to find the banking and the berm right there and slide it off there. Still going to look for that. Oh, no! Ryan and Wacker into each other. That was heavy contact. Both of them roll away. Wacker's moved through to B2. No, you don't, son. No, you don't. From where? From nowhere. Berkeley was looking like he was missing the thing on the top. The thing that's missing. Making grip for car number 9. He's come from the back. Berkeley's here. Berkeley's going Berkers.
Oh, look at that. Move up the inside of Vanderwacker. Slider up into turn 4. 2 laps to go. Vanderwacker cuts back. Aiden Forster now leads by 3 seconds as Vanderwacker tried to go for it on Tim Ryan. Yeah, Oscar Ames out of nowhere. Where did he come from? Top 5. And it's the start of the final lap. It is on now between Berkeley, Pettit, Ames, Vanderwacker. They are all dicing for the same piece of racetrack. Tim Ryan is still there. But Aiden Forster up the front, untouched, unbothered. He's going to take the checkered flag. But who's going to finish second? It's going to be Vanderwacker over Joel Berkeley by a 10th, with Oscar Ames and Tanner Pettit 4th and 5th. Get this, 20 positions up for Berkeley, 18 positions up for Ames, and 16 spots up for Pettit. Back in 10th, Ayrton Smith up 14 places as well. There were some really good gainers in that field.
Hey, like I said to you, but remember, I was only just talking about the guys at the back saved a little bit of time. That track went away. Clayton got down and on the bottom, and he really, really tried to find some grip. And it was there for about 3 laps. And then I reckon his tyres just went off. And there was nothing he could do at that point because they cooked down there. He could not get up. Forster's going to get it. And that 3.5 seconds, when we consider the last couple of weeks, that's 10 times the victory. Actually, it's more than that race. I think that's 100 times the victory margin we've had over the last 2 races. Consider that.
Yeah. We've gotten used to having very narrow margins for victory, but 3.5 seconds, Aiden Forster will take the Empire State Showdown presented by Apex Industries. And so close for the rest of the top 5. Berkeley rounds out your podium with Ames and Pettit behind. Tim Ryan back to 6th place. He was contending for the win. He was leading almost all the way through that one, but how things can go wrong in the blink of an eye. Ethan Foley up 9 spots. That's a very impressive run, making up for his misfortunes earlier. Clayton Davies could not get those positions back. He will finish in 8th, with Kelly Carmen in 9th, and Ayrton Smith rounding out your top 10. As I said, gaining 14 places.
Yeah, huge margins. And look at Rattray White there in 11, 7 seconds back. So that's doubling the lead. By the way, the win margin, 1st to 2nd place, double that and you cover the next 10 cars. That sort of tells you a whole bunch. Brady Boardman, Baxter Trichet, Hayden Vickers, Brenton Hobson, 1 lap down. Then we get into the retirements. There was quite a lot of them tonight. 15th on back off the lead lap. Harry Stewart, Stables, Fenson, Walker, Rusty O'Neill. Gee, I just had a good feeling about Rusty tonight. He was looking good. He was looking really, really good until it did not. Home in 20th.
Yeah, in 21st place in the end, Riley Hutchison and Casey Hamilton, Bradley Oldfield and Jacob Freeman unable to make it to the finish either. So some drivers licking their wounds after that one, but plenty with a lot to celebrate. We're going to bring now Aiden Forster into the fold as our feature winner here at Weedsport Speedway. That was a titanic battle with Tim Ryan up the front. Aiden, tell us about it from your perspective.
Yeah, that was definitely a fun race. We had a really, really good car. Just, man, cautions ended up just plain. All of them seemed to go against me there. Once we got the lead there, we get a good run on Tim. Just a caution would come out. So unfortunate there that all that happened, but we were able to get it on that longer green flag run there and drive away. So Tanner gave us a really good car. Can't thank him enough. And yeah, 2 in a row, I think that is now. It's pretty cool. Hopefully we can keep it going.
Yeah, it's probably going to result in another swing in the lead of the championship as well. Your teammate Clayton Davies was leading coming into this round, but you are present there in the top 3. And that win, plus the success you saw in your heat and by getting P1 in qualifying, getting the quick time, pretty much a perfect points day for you.
Yeah, definitely. That's how you win championships. It's just putting together a good night and doing that every week. So we've been on a really good roll here lately, just getting good finishes and wins. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully we can keep it going. We got some good tracks coming up here too, so that I'm pumped about. And yeah, hopefully we can keep the streak going.
Indeed. It'll be very interesting to see from up here in the comms box. Before we let you go, Aiden, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, first of all, I gotta thank Tanner Pettit a bunch. He does a lot of work to help all of us out at TPR to compete the highest level in iRacing. So can't thank him enough. Also gotta thank Jimmy P Mac Tools, 1425 Photography, Aces Up Sim Sport, C Cinematography, Trackside Collective, Blake Character Racing, Simrat Market, just everybody that supports us.
Excellent stuff. From Aiden Forster tonight, we'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks, mate.
Thank you, guys.
Number 20 in P1. In second place, it was Nathan van der Wacker, and a very happy Nathan van der Wacker indeed stood by with Scott Rankin.
Well, we talked to you about 35 laps ago, Nathan van der Wacker, and the confidence levels were high. You were feeling really on the march forward. You've always had a strong car here in the features. A little bit of drifting back early on. I get the feeling it was just looking after those tyres. We knew it was going to be a slick track for the bulk of that feature.
Yeah, it's always just a little bit of patience, I think, in the first half of those features, just keeping the car in one spot, missing the early wrecks, and you have a few of those early wrecks, and you're up 4 or 5 spots already. So once I'd gained a few spots, I knew it was time to put the foot down. In practice, I didn't feel good on my feature setup at all, but I knew if I could find an all right line, especially in 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, I knew I could make something work. So yeah, definitely pleasantly surprised with the P2 tonight.
In terms of the way that things have been going this year, obviously you've just been away internationally and sort of relaxing. Has that allowed the brain and the mind to just sort of reset, reflect on how everything's going, and all of a sudden just a lot more calm, a lot more composed? And that's what I'm hearing from you here tonight.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what it is. Maybe it is, taking a step away for a little bit. But that's what I think. At the end of last season, I did feel like a little bit drained. And after you do things like Pro Series a few years ago, you feel drained. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm coming back. I'm barely doing any practice, and it's all coming together nicely. It's I'm not worried about points or anything, and I'll there's a few rounds I'll miss later in the year too, and just coming in and with a level head. I've been qualifying a bit better. Qualifying is never really my forte, but I've been stuck inside the top 10 the last 2 weeks. So just putting myself in a decent position again. Just putting myself in the feature, and I know I can always make something work.
Mate, congratulations on coming away with P2 from Weedsports. Car 88 gets it done. Who would you like to thank?
Legend, all the guys from Vortex and BBS Esports. Huge thanks to Colin Bocas, working hard on the setups. Like I said, it's really good. I've been off for so long and coming on and barely doing any practice, and I'm straight on the money and I can park it on the podium. I think that's really impressive. I'm proud of the team and I'm proud of myself. And of course, huge thanks to all the sponsors on the car, Maddington and Canning Vale Toyota, well, I'm just looking at my sponsor list, and it's gone on me. But yeah, huge thanks to everyone on the car, and I can't wait to come back for next round, and let's see what I've got next time. Hopefully we go one step higher.
Mate, my partner's your main sponsor that's on the car. I've got some bad news today. Mate, we might have to pull funding. Mate, congratulations. It's good to see you on the podium. It's good to have a chat.
Legend.
Finally. Been a while.
Finally. Thanks, Scotty Rankin. Love you. Cheers, mate.
Mate, the benefit, Reese, is I get to rough up my teammates, right? They're my oval teammates. Wacker, he's out here ripping my partner. So primary sponsor, thank you to McLean and Yamba Veterinary.
Yep. Mate, we need to run some laps on the oval, I reckon. After this, off we go.
At this rate, mate, you might be taking tips from Boyd. He had a solid finish this week. Did he let you know?
10 or something. Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces. I don't know. I've seen bits and pieces.
Congratulations on P2, mate. I'll let you go. I'll rough you up at a later date.
Legend. I'm expecting it. All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks, mate.
Awesome stuff. Nathan van der Wacker finishing in second place in today's feature, and in third, a man that's seen a lot of success here in the past, Joel Berkeley. You visit the podium again, but you had to take quite a long way to get there. Where was the car in qualifying in the heat?
I don't know. Just busted like normal we've been myself this season. So had to work from the back for that one, but got quite lucky with some things on my way and avoiding all the people that didn't have their maps out for getting around the track. So thankful to get around that and get a good finish.
So do you think that whole avoiding incidents was the larger part of your success in the feature, or did your setup suit a more well-worn in track?
Look, we've had great setups all year from Colin and his team, and all the boys have had good setups. I've just probably done the wrong thing. All the other boys have been up front, I haven't. But I think early on in the first 10 laps, made good headway through the field and put ourselves in a decent position to be there. I guess second half of the race, I was just hoping to finish the race really and do something I hadn't done in about 10 weeks. It feels like. So it was had a good car. I just loaded in what we had from what we've been running and just tweaking a few things and trying to find a bit more comfort for myself. Being the 410s are a bit more, I guess, aggressive, and this build's, I don't know what the deals with this build. It's just bit more, I don't know, you're driving a bit harder than you're normally used to, I think.
Well, hard driving is certainly what I know you for, Joel, and you had to do some of it to get up to third place, and well rewarded with that as well, scything your way through the pack. Is there anyone that you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I guess it's been one of the things, just trying to come through the pack and be there, so hopefully we can keep with the good results, and just massive thanks to Brady and you guys for all you do putting this league on and giving everyone a place to race, and all the boys back at UX Sim Sports, Brad, Darcy and Harry for everything they do, and Colin for always help with the setups and all that, and everyone else that chips in, and hopefully I guess us boys can keep putting up the pointy and sort of thing.
Yeah, indeed. We'll see how things go at Port Royal Speedway, which is, of course, the next round of the championship on the 1st of July. Thanks for joining us, Joel. We'll see you then.
Hopefully we'll be there. I think I should be there for that one. Hopefully, pending on work, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Fingers crossed, Joel. Catch you later.
See you, mate. Have a good one.
Joel Berkeley there, final driver to chat to us there. Upcoming schedule for the next few rounds of the Australian Sim Racing Group Series. On the 24th of June, Scott, you're going to be getting behind the wheel at Le Mans for the Moser Porsche Pro Invitational. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be a big week as well, because not only is it Porsche Pro Invitational and a little bit of an overhaul to the drafting model for the Moser Porsche Pro Cup cars. It'll be an opportunity to test that at one of the tracks with the biggest straights. But also, the big key, Logitech G V8 Pro Invitational returns, and it's the first of the endurance races. Phillip Island will kick us off, and the reason for that, 2 in 1 week. Friday night next week, the 26th of June. It's all going to go down. Will the heavens open on a cold and wintry Phillip Island? I doubt the track temperature is going to be climbing all that high this year in the middle of winter. Challenging when you move the Enduros to the middle of the year, eh?
Yeah, very challenging indeed. Usually we see them in sort of late spring, early summer. Next round of this series is going to be at Port Royal Speedway on the 1st of July, a track that I'm not entirely familiar with. So if you want any pointers, go and look somewhere else. But come back in 2 weeks' time and we'll take our way through it from 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. There is one thing that we have forgotten to talk about, though, and that is the Speedway Draft.
We're going to have a look at the points, so we'll have to extend the broadcast a little bit longer as well. Reminder, a little bit of funding left over after all the sponsorship and stuff's done. A big shout out to Brady Boardman. The guys do love it. An opportunity to come and, race for a little bit of cash and really have some fun with it. But that $100 to win leaves the country, by the way. So congratulations, Aidan Forster. $100 Australian heading your way. Enjoy the can of Coke and maybe a couple of olives if you're lucky.
Yeah, bag of chips maybe. Speaking of sponsors, want to give a proper thank you to Apex Industries, the title sponsor of this round, run by former ODSE feature winner Colin Bokus, an American-ran sprint car team fielding American and Australian drivers on the sim and building top-level setups. They're a top-level sprint car team fielding multiple cars in both this series and the iRacing Pro Series. If you're interested in what Apex Industries is all about, visit them on Facebook if you'd like to give them a try. Our Round 7 sponsor. Thank you very much to Colin and Apex Industries. Well, I know that I came into this round in a pretty solid position in the Speedway draft rankings. But we went for some very interesting choices. Apparently, we all selected different drivers, more or less, didn't we, Scott?
Yeah, a lot different. And the big thing will be, I don't think you're on top of the point standings anymore. I think you've finally been pipped. You're still P1.
Oh, am I? Oh, okay. I am still P1 overall. Well, that's good news. Only just, apparently.
So on the night, you finished second place overall. Reboot Racing gets Aiden Forster and Kelly Carmen for the top 2 point scorers. Tim Ryan was the third best drafter. And the reason for that, ladies and gentlemen, watching on home, you're sitting there going, hang on, all those guys made the feature. Well, qualifying points are calculated into that one. C and B main points do also score a little bit in there as well. Then you promote through to the feature. So it's not just getting through. You qualify right up at the pointy end of things. There is going to be a little bit of bonus points in the pool for you. So Reese manages to finish second tonight, 2,312. You managed to outscore me by 67 points. That's a funny number, apparently, when you put those two numbers together. Saw that in a video this week.
Yes, indeed. Well, we'll wait just a few more moments for Jay to bring us those results. But while we're at it, keep an eye out. Mark that date in your calendar, 1st of July here for the ASRG Sprintcar Pro Invitational. We have a huge championship still to come. Plenty of rounds to decide the ultimate champion of the AusNZ sim racing scene. And for the moment, waiting for that. Okay, here we go. We've got it. Let's see it. Bring it up, Jay. Where is it? There it is. Hey! Breaking 15K, extending my lead. Let's go!
You're by the way, so you're currently leading the point standings with the Super Duper Serious Speedway. Sitting in second place in the draft standings is Darren. Ripping the Fence, which is my team, is sitting in third position. By the way, there is 998 points separating you and I for the top 3 after 7 rounds of this. And Jay Kennedy behind the scenes, he's cracked the top 10. Moved up into P9 overall with 11,000. But the big thing is, apparently, age and wisdom does not beat youth. The youngest member of the Kennedy family in the draft is sitting in 7th spot. So Jay might want to ask Harrison for some tips next time out.
Indeed. And Brady Baldwin, our series administrator, is in 5th place overall. So if you want to play this, very tight up the front. If you want to play along with us, go to speedwaydraft.com and register, select your drivers, and see where they end up. It's quite a fun way to engage with this series. Speedwaydraft.com, playing for free. Well, that's going to round things off for today's broadcast for the ASRG Sprintcar Pro Invitational Series. We appreciate you all coming on board, whichever platform you came from, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or Kick. We are glad that you found us. My name is Reese Gardner. His name was Scott Rankin alongside me, and that guy's name in the back is Jay Kennedy, who's brought you all these pictures in the first place. We're SimSpeed TV, and we'll see you next time.